Sven from AERIALIS Kites. Good to see you back. You know, some time ago I created a video about flying a stack of sport kites, and lately that little video actually it started to trend a little over on YouTube. I've also got a couple of questions about stack flying, and in this video I am going to talk about that. You know, how to put the stack together, what to focus on, what to avoid, how to launch it, how to fly it, stuff like that. So the wind right now, it's a bit on the stronger side. Hopefully it will turn out okay, but yeah, it's blowing out there. Hopefully it won't pull me out of my socks, and if it will, well, that's going to be fun to watch, so let's hit the field.
Alrighty, let's get started. Find your ground stake and stake your kite lines to the ground like this. Now you're ready to unwind your flying lines. Make sure the wind's on your back and unwind the lines downwind. Roll in, roll in, roll in. Yeah, right. Yep, 45 meters of line on the ground. And when done, make sure to put the winder in your pocket so you don't leave it behind on the field. Now the next thing to do is to connect your straps to the flying lines. Depending on your straps, there are different ways to do it, but this is how I do mine. The red line is my right line, and the yellow line is my left line. Kinda nice to know when you're about to launch the kites. And now comes the fun part. Inside here I have my stack of kites, and in this bag, the tails. You know, the tails are optional, but they sure look good up there. Okay then, let's see what's inside this little bag. Hey, it looks like a stack of kites, unassembled. Alrighty, these are the upper spreaders and these are the lower spreaders. Let's start putting this stack together. Start by putting the kites on the ground, belly up, and the nose pointing into the wind. You know, as always, there is no one truth only, but here is how I assemble this stuff. I start with the upper spreaders and insert the spreaders into the connectors of the first kite. That's the kite that's going to be closest to you when you fly the stack. Then I insert the upper spreader in the rest of the kites and I speed up this process a little. Then I insert the lower spreaders and also insert the standoffs shaping the sails. And of course, I repeat this process for all 4 kites in the stack. First spreader inserted and then the standoff, shaping one half of the sail, then repeating it for the other half of the sail, like this. By now, I guess you have got an idea what I'm doing, so let's speed up the process once again. Now all 4 kites are assembled, and it's time to set it all up for launch. And that's a process in itself, actually. Now the first thing I do is to hook up the flying lines to the first kite of the stack, just like you would have done with any kite. You know, lark's heads, nuts and stuff. The yellow line to the left and the red line to the right. Now I lean the first kite way back so the stack won't take off unintentionally. No, you don't want that to happen, trust me. Now you pull out, so to speak, all the kites in the stack and make sure all of them are leaning backwards. Nope, you don't want this stack to take off unintentionally. And take your time, there's no hurry. You better get this right, because if not, it's gonna be a mess. And that's gonna take longer to sort out. Make sure nothing is tangled, because, you know, there are 5 lines between each kite. Lots of stuff that can be tangled. So once again, take your time and carefully check every kite that nothing is tangled. You should also make sure that none of the stack lines have come loose. And if they have, fasten them again, right? Now it's time for the tails. Like said, they're optional, but they sure look really good. So I'm gonna put a tail on all kites in my stack. I'll attach the tail to the lower end of the spine, like this. Your tails might be a bit different, but you get a picture, right? 1 down, 3 more to go. And when all the tails are attached, make sure once again that nothing is tangled. Here I am again, for the last and final time hopefully, checking that nothing is tangled. All the kites are leaning back, so nothing will take off unintentionally. And soon I'm ready to fly this beautiful stack of 4 kites. Everything's fine, let's rock and roll. But before we start to rock and roll, here are some useful tips and tricks. Flying a stack of kites, it's important to use precise techniques and movements to maintain stability and maneuverability. Here are some recommended techniques and movements you should use, as well as movements to avoid. First of all, smooth inputs. Make gentle and gradual movements with your handles. Smooth inputs help prevent sudden jerks or overcorrections that could destabilize the stack. Coordinated turns. When turning the stack, coordinate the movements across all kites. Pulling on one flying line should result in all the kites in the stack turning together in the desired direction. Timing and rhythm. Develop a sense of timing and rhythm in your movements. Consistent and well-timed inputs contribute to smoother flight and better control. Responsive adjustments. Pay attention to how the stack responds to your inputs and make adjustments as needed to maintain alignment and stability. Practice maneuvers. Practice basic maneuvers such as figure eights and loops. This to improve your flying skills and understanding of the stack's behavior. Now over to some movements that you should avoid. Abrupt jerks. Avoid making abrupt and sharp movements with the handles. Quick jerks can destabilize the stack and lead to tangled lines and, all sorts of trouble. Oversteering. Oversteering occurs when you apply too much input during turns, causing the stack to over-rotate. This can result in the kites twisting around each other and creating a big mess. But now, Now it's time to rock and roll. Check out the launch in slow motion. And remember to use smooth inputs and try to avoid pumping the kites like I do here. Once again, and now at normal speed. Smooth input. Enhance the smoothness of your input by walking back and forth on the field as necessary. Now let's check out the kites, and you can clearly see what happens to them when I pump the lines. Once again, a little closer and a little slower. And like I said, try to avoid that pumping of the lines. It makes for a smoother flight. And now both the kites and the pilot. And once again, but now in slow motion, so you can check out the details. And no pumping this time, and you can see that the kites are much smoother in the air. And here you can check out yours truly, flying the kites and hopefully achieving all the things I've been talking about earlier in this video. You know, smooth input, coordinated turns, timing and rhythm, and responsive adjustments. And you know, when you get it right, you get all the moves right, the kites are looking really sharp up there, and they will fly fluently, smoothly, nicely, and make a great impression to any spectator that happens to be around. I really hope that this little video of mine will inspire you to put a stack of kites together and bring it to your local field and have a good time flying them. So thanks for watching, and see you on the field. Bye for now.